Welcome back! Today we are doing a replay cast of a game I highly anticipated in Division E East. LTK We Hate Objective, also known as License to Kill We Hate Objective, against Infernal Misfits. Two of them, both of them the highest seeds currently in Division E East. So this was a very anticipated match, both teams incredible in their own rights, with very different playstyles too. And I can't wait to get started and dig in. For the map bans, we have... double check. So, LTK banned Sky Temple and Tomb of the Spider Queen, whereas Infernal Misfits banned Alterac Pass and Cursed Hollow. The map that was picked was Dragonshire, and for once, I actually figured out how to tell which of the teams picked the map and which of them got first pick. It's actually shown in the Heroes Profile report. So I get a little bit more information than before, which is always good to have. So, first map being Dragonshire. Very interested to see how both of those teams are going to strategize on this map. It has a slightly different meta than the average map, and it's very difficult to play, especially in the lower divisions, which we're in now. But both of those teams are very, very good. I would say probably worth being in Div D at this point. So I can't wait to see what their strategies are going to be. We're going to dive in very, very shortly. Hi Raka, hope you enjoy the casting. I hope you're having a great day too. Let's go into a short intro video and then we'll go right into the game.
Oh, a swap! Oh no, but a swap followed by a light bulb.
Here. Four-man mosh pit followed by a tomb. Oh no! Oh, a huge light bomb coming in on the Genji, and that's a 5-man light bomb. They're gonna follow up, and they're gonna get 1, 2, 3 kills.
And it's gonna be everybody dying. Oh my God! When does this happen? Everybody's dead.
Heroes.
Welcome, we should be into the game now. Yes, we are. And before I go any further, I realized I have information about the bans of each team, so I'm going to go over them real quick. Oh, and also, I should probably swap. The teams were playing on the wrong side this time around, so Infernal Misfits is actually going to be on the left side for this game.
10 seconds.
And their bans were Gazlo, Kael'thas, and Hogger, while LTK banned Alarak, Kel'Thuzad, and Zagara. Those Alarak and Kel'Thuzad being banned almost every game. Let's go into the player presentation. We have, on the side of Infernal Misfits in the blue, Nathaniel on the ERL, Skills Z912 on Kerrigan, Lone Wolf on Tychus, Wygon on Garrosh, and Jody Immortal on Lee. And on the side of LTK, in the red, we have Badidali on Leoric, Last Malkir on Vala, already some fighting happening. We have Zoom Then Boom on Blaze, Bowser King on Nubarak, and Vikhar on Anduin. Already Bowser King very, very low on health after this first skirmish in the middle lane. Vala is going to go for the auto-attack stacking quest at level 1, Creed of the Hunter. A Gambit, which means that if she dies, she loses part of that bonus.
You think yourself worthy to wield the Dragon Knight's power?
Meanwhile, on the other side, we have Dash from the Tychus, Fury the Swarm from Kerrigan. Love to see that Kerrigan from Infernal Misfits. It's one of the best players of skills. One of the best characters, sorry, of skills after the Kel'Thuzad and Alarak. I wonder if we'll get to see Kel'Thuzad or Alarak tonight, or if they'll be banned every single time. But Scales definitely, when he gets the chance to play one of those two, he doesn't hesitate. And Infernal Misfits is pretty good at capitalizing on their strengths. Already we see a clear division in the 4-man and the offlane. I'm not entirely sure how Leoric and ERL match up in the offlane, but I guess we'll find out. LTK with a slight advantage in the experience early on. Nothing crazy, beautiful stun by the Blaze, not going to be followed up on. I like LTK's comp onto this map. They have a very, very beefy frontline, which is usually pretty good to have on this map, but the Tychus on the other side makes this very difficult for them to deal with. They're going to have to focus that Tychus down if they don't want to take that % damage to the face. It looks like they also went for a hyper carry Vala, hence the auto attack talent. Bowser King diving a little too far in and being melted down by that Tychus. Already Tychus using his % damage to the fullest extent. Already we see, oh, a little bit less damage in Kerrigan, surprisingly enough. Once again, the Kerrigan of skills is very, very strong. With both teams having done their siege camp, it looks like both of them are mirroring each other in terms of macros so far. Both of them hovering over that bottom shrine altar. I think it's an altar, right? Oh, good flip onto that Anubarak. He dives to safety. Anduin having some great heals to support him. In the rhythm picked by Tychus, I would have thought he would go for the bigger they are, considering the 3 front lines. But this one can be pretty good as well, since it gives a flat increase to the duration of minigun, which he's going to be using a lot this game. That is going to be their main source of damage, most likely. Good plays by Wygon on the Garrosh, managing to get a few very good flips. Vala almost going down, but Vicar doing a good job of keeping her alive, making sure that her Gambit doesn't go down. If Infernal Misfits can get a few kills onto the Vala, it's going to heavily handicap LTK in the later game. Good stun by Wygon, followed by a flip. And the damage from that Tychus is just too much to handle. They almost managed to get Bowser King as well, but Vicar with a timely leap of faith stops that. Now Infernal Misfits has the room they need to push that bottom wall down. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Nathaniel is pretty low on mana. Looks like he's going to be pushed out by the Leoric. Infernal Misfits doing some damage onto that fort, not a whole lot. All camps are up. Now it looks like LTK wants to grab this altar. I don't think they're going to be able to grab the dragon just yet, or anywhere, anytime soon, unless they can get a kill. Infernal Misfits having some pretty good rotations so far, but so is LTK. Misfits has a slight experience advantage, but it looks like both teams are going to reach level 20 at about the same time. This camp, however, going to probably bring Infernal Misfits over the edge once they cap it. Ooh, LTK might be looking for an invade. They're coming in, diving into the middle. Chain stuns onto the team of Infernal Misfits, but now the stuns are gone and the damage is out. The Tychus is doing so much that Kerrigan pulls them into danger, and all 4 of the members of LTK are going to fall. Very well played by Infernal Misfits. Now that our level 10s are online, we have Sacred Ground from the ERL, Commandeer Odin, oh, I missed this one, Maelstrom, Warlord's Challenge, and Water Dragon. And while Infernal Misfits is taking this bottom fort by force, we have Entomb from LTK, Reign of Vengeance, Bunker Drop, Cocoon, and Light Bomb. Infernal Misfits wasn't quite able to grab this first dragon even after they managed to get a 4-man kill onto LTK. The death timers are still pretty short at this point of the game, but they are getting longer and longer with each passing second. An attempted gank onto Skills. Will they find it? Skills is already walking away almost at his gate. He does manage to get it. Unfortunately for LTK, they don't quite manage to find the gank. Nathaniel staying in this area diligently to get his bonuses. Juggling around Bud Italy, just not wanting to give up on that point. Trying to buy time for his team, and both teams are going at it in the middle lane. That Cocoon goes down onto that Kerrigan, and it's going to give a huge advantage to LTK. But now that she's back up, oh, she goes down. She did a lot of damage onto Malkir, but Malkir managed to stay alive. Ooh, that's a dead Vala, and now she has lost a little bit. Oh, that's a second death, actually. She died in a 4-man earlier, as well during the invade, and that's 10% attack speed from her level 1 bonus that's gone, which is going to give an advantage to Infernal Misfits going into the late game. Like an anti-scaling for LTK, so that's gonna hurt a lot. Infernal Misfits slightly ahead on the experience, despite Nathaniel's great efforts to keep this point almost this entire time. Infernal Misfits wasn't quite able to grab this dragon yet. And now, neither team has it available. Misfits taking this bruiser camp, trying to put some pressure, potentially taking advantage of LTK having to respond to it to do something somewhere else on the map. Maybe take this shrine, maybe take the dragon. Nathaniel still on the point, not wanting to let it go at any cost, using his ultimate again to stay on that point as long as possible. But now LTK is coming to the rescue, coming to try and take Nathaniel down once and for all so they can cap this point. Will they get it? Beautiful positioning by Malkir, managing to take down Urel despite her jumping away. But Misfits are now taking this bottom point, so LTK won't be able to take that time to grab the dragon. And now they're pushing this bottom fort. It looks like they might be able to get it before LTK responds. Not. Now they're in the middle of a fight. Bunker goes down, Cocoon goes down, Light Bomb. Now Jody Immortal in a lot of trouble, is going to fall. Now it's a 3v4 for Infernal Misfits. They're taking a lot of damage. That Kerrigan is doing so much, however, to the backline of LTK. Malkir goes down once again. Vicar in a lot of trouble. Skills is not going to commit to that. Now he's the one who's in a lot of trouble. Will he be able to walk away? No. Bowser King takes him down. That Tychus is doing so much damage to the tanks. That Garrosh is going to throw him back into safety, but now Garrosh is the one who's being locked down. Unstoppable being used to try and buy him some time. Bowser King so low on health. Now Lone Wolf was trying so hard to get that kill. He's the one who's in trouble now. So many backs and forths in this very weird fight. That Tychus goes down. But for Infernal Misfits, it's gotta feel good. They now have 3 kills onto that Vala. Her Gambit is, for the most part, gone. But LTK is going to reach that level 16 first, it looks like, so if they can delay that dragon from happening, they can now have a small window of opportunity to turn onto Infernal Misfits and take them down, and take that dragon with them. Infernal Misfits, though, not wanting to give it up. It's now a 4v4 in the middle lane, but now 5 for LTK. Cocoon being used onto the Garrosh. Now Nathaniel might be in a lot of trouble, and Tomb goes down. And both Urel and Lily are going to fall. Now that's going to buy some time for LTK. That's what they were looking for. They're going to have to keep this up. They're going to grab both of the shrines. Will they be able to get the dragon, though? Infernal Misfits is trying to buy some time by staying in the middle lane until the other 2 members of their team go back up. Nope, they're going to go bottom. Try to get some kills, maybe. They're spreading out. Now LTK is looking to grab this dragon. Infernal Misfits trying their best to interrupt. A throw onto Bud Italy is going to keep that dragon from being taken for a little bit, but not for too long. Now LTK has a dragon and they're going to run it through the middle lane. The wall is already going down. Meanwhile, Tychus doing a little bit of soak in the middle lane, but he's going to encounter the entire team of LTK. Now he's in trouble. Bowser King's burrow charge doesn't land, unfortunately, for LTK, and Lone Wolf is able to walk back to safety. Commandeer Odin is popped to damage that dragon. Skills being bumped away. Now the dragon is at half health going onto the fort. Doesn't look like that fort is going to be taken entirely by LTK. A good defense by Infernal Misfits. They're going to walk away, try and use its duration to the full extent. Oh no, they're going back in. Doing some damage to those minions. Meanwhile, Urel in the middle lane. She doesn't do that much damage to the dragon, so she soaks instead. Oh, but she's in trouble now. She uses her ult to try and stand her ground, but so much damage goes onto her. Oh, the Cocoon interrupts Light Bomb! Very well played by the Anubarak. Oh, actually, that's a counter synergy now that I think about it, because the Anduin is on his side. Oh, that sucks. Anubarak goes down. Malkir barely manages to walk back to safety with the help of that Anduin. And that was a very, very unfortunate... I'm not entirely sure what happened, actually. Now that I think about it, I'm very confused. Let's not dwell on it too much. Infernal Misfits is taking that middle fort. They're going to take the camp as well. They have a slight experience advantage, and as they're taking a lot of camps around the map, that experience gap is going to widen. Those camps giving a lot of experience. And they're still soaking all of the lanes at the same time. Excellent job at taking the advantage that they have and trying to make it even larger. LTK is slightly behind at this point, but not out of the game. They still have a lot of options.
Power gathers within the shadows. Seize them and become
A light bomb combo could be devastating, and Tomb is very, very strong, especially if it can be comboed with the stuns of Vala, for example. They still have a lot of options, but it's going to be a little delicate for them to play into the late game, especially with Vala's 3 deaths that reduced her gambit by quite a lot. Infernal Misfits is just around the corner from level 20, and if LTK wants to take a fight, it has to be either before Infernal Misfits gets their 20 or after they themselves have their 20. Looks like they're going to go for the latter. Not looking to take that risk just yet. Misfits are looking at the top lane. It looks like they want to do a gank on Badidali. They want to bait him out in the open. They're going to reveal themselves a little too early. Leoric not daring to go too far out now. They're looking to take this top camp, and with the fort that they have, and Nathaniel holding his ground with that ultimate Sacred Ground, they're not going to be able to defend. That fort is going down. Infernal Misfits has their 20. LTK still not quite there yet, but almost. They must be rushing to get that level 20 as fast as they can. Misfits with both of the shrines, but now LTK has 20s, and they're going to be looking to use them to make something happen. We have Seraphim, Psionic Shift, Big Red Button, Titanic Might, and Shake It Off from the side of Infernal Misfits. And for LTK, we have Buried Alive, a very strong level 20. We have Farlight Quiver, Burn Notice, Rewind, and Inner Fire. Love the rewind onto an Uberak. Allows him to do so much stunning. Already those stuns are going down. Light Bomb is being used. Connects with 2 people, including Tychus, who goes down. Last Malkier is being focused down and is going to fall. Another kill onto that Vala, reducing that Gambit. Now Anduin goes down as well, followed by Leoric, and Infernal Misfits are all over the team of LTK. Zoom Them Boom is gone. And now Infernal Misfits has what they need to take this dragon. Looks like they're going to take the camp as well. They have so much pressure in all 3 lanes, and this is looking like it might be the end of this first game. LTK is not quite out of this yet. If they can delay that dragon for just a little longer and wait for their teammates to come back, it's not impossible for them to turn this around, but it isn't looking very good for them. I like seeing that ultimate from the ERL. We don't see it very often, but I like it being used on this map. It was used to a great extent. Now Vala and Anduin are about to come back up, and it doesn't look like Infernal Misfits want to take their chance at the court. Instead, they're going to take down this wall, do some keep damage, and potentially look for a kill or 2, so they have an opportunity to end the game. It's now back to a 5v5. Bumping away that Leoric. They're going to take down this keep. They still have a lot of pressure in the top lane that LTK is going to have to deal with. They're advancing onto the core now. Despite it still being a 5v5, it looks like now they're going to back away. And they're in a pretty solid position for the late game here. They still have all of their structures. They're looking to potentially take those camps. Since LTK has so much pressure to relieve around the map, it's going to be hard for them to respond. They're still going to go for it, though. Looks like we're going to have a fight around this objective. It might be a very decisive one. LTK has to win this fight, otherwise they're in a lot of trouble. Good stun by the Blaze. Entomb is being used on the backside, but it's not going to catch anybody. But Italy is going to fall. Now it's a 4v5. And that Kerrigan is so good at following up and chasing. Now Zoom Boom is in so much trouble. It's going to fall, most definitely. Bowser can take so much damage from the Tychus, but that Tychus is a little exposed. He's going to be just fine. Now Infernal Misfits might have what it takes to end, especially with this camp, helping them, giving them some spell shield, and doing a lot of damage as well. It's going to be another 20 seconds, maybe a little less, because Leoric can reduce his death timer. There's still going to be a little bit before he comes back up, and almost 40 seconds before Blaze comes back up. They have what it takes with the Commandeer Odin to try and take this core down. LTK are not giving up. They're doing everything they can. Very good stun by that Garrosh, however. Malkier in a lot of trouble, going to do so much damage to that ERL, but the core is already at 33%. Lone Wolf being focused down. Looks like he's going to fall. Is he, though? He's gaining so much healing. He's going to be able to get those last few shots onto the core. And now the core goes down. Infernal Misfits takes the first game of this series. Alright, let's take a quick look at those stats. Very good display so far. I'll remove the ticker, we don't want to spoil anything. A very good display by Infernal Misfits in this first game. A very dominant win, for sure, but LTK were no pushovers. That Vala did so much damage, but unfortunately for LTK, the early deaths reducing her gambit probably took a big toll on them. Her damage would have been a lot higher if Infernal Misfits hadn't been so good at focusing down at Vala. Leoric doing fantastically in that offlane. Look at those stats. Look at that siege damage. Kerrigan doing a surprising amount of siege damage of her own. I really liked the Yrel play in the top lane, holding that shrine basically forever with Sacred Ground. If you liked the way that those players played their game, and you want to emulate it in your own games, make sure to take a screenshot, look at those talents, take inspiration, and hopefully you have fun. We're going to go on a very short break while I get the next map ready, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. This second game of this match, of this series, is going to happen on Towers of Doom, and it was picked by LTK, it looks like. Our bans for both teams. LTK opted to ban Alarak, Kel'Thuzad, and Yrel. I like the respect ban on the Yrel. She was very impactful in that first game. While Infernal Misfits banned Gazlo, Kel'Thas, and Dehaka. It doesn't look like Scales is going to be able to play that Alarak or Kel'Thuzad in this second game, but I'm sure he's used to it. Also, Malkir, I wouldn't say you fed. You played very well, but that Kerrigan must have been a pain in the butt for you to deal with. Scales is so good on that Kerrigan. Either way, let's go for the second game. Very excited to see second game being on Towers of Doom. If there's a map where things can turn around in a pinch, that's definitely it. We're going to go into a short intro video and then we'll load right into the game.
Oh, a swap! Oh no, but a swap followed by a light bomb.
Here. 4-man mosh pit followed by a tomb. Oh no! Oh, here's light bomb coming in on the Genji, and that's a 5-man light bomb. They're gonna follow up, and they're gonna get 1, 2, 3 kills.
And it's gonna be everybody dying. Oh my God! When does this happen? Everybody's dead.
Welcome back. We are loaded in to Towers of Doom, and this time the teams are on the right side that they need to be. So I swapped back the HUD.
The battle begins.
So on the left side of the map, in the blue, we have LTK with Bowser King on Anubarak, Last Malkir on Falstad, Badidali on Leoric, Vikhar on Rhaegar, and Zoom Then Boom on Asmodan. For LTK, we hate objective. And on the right side of the map, in the red, we have Infernal Misfits with Nathaniel on Hager, Wyagon on Garrosh, Jody Immortal on Lily, Lone Wolf on Zagara, and Skills once again on the Kerrigan. Already Leoric is soaking that top lane. Already in place. Nathaniel. I thought he was going up, but not quite yet. It's actually going to be Lone Wolf in the off lane early on. It's not very often that you see a Hogger in the 4-man, but I like it. Can't wait to see how that's going to play out. Meanwhile, we have the global advantage by LTK with that Falstad. But Zagara, after level 10, could also become a global depending on which ult she takes. Early on, though, it's going to be all LTK when it comes to global presence. That Asmodan doing fantastically with stacking, already 68 stacks of Gluttony. This is insane. For anyone who plays Asmodan, you know that 68 stacks within about a minute is incredibly high. So that Asmodan later on is probably going to be a main driver of damage in the mid and early late game. And it looks like LTK is getting a little bit ahead on the soaking in the mid lane. I do think that Leoric soaks probably a little faster than Zagara does, which is going to be an advantage for LTK. Both of them are going at it in the middle lane. Malkir taking a lot of damage. Malkir went for Gathering Storm as well, the Q stacking talent. And already with 26 stacks. So it looks like LTK went for more of a late game comp and they're already stacking fairly quickly. Meanwhile, Zagara with the serrated spines already getting a few stacks off of Leoric. That Leoric is very, very low. Barely escaping with his life. Zagara very, very good at bullying people off of her lane. Both camps are taken at around the same time here. Both teams having spent a lot of time skirmishing in the bottom lane. I can't wait to see how they're going to use the Hogger into this comp. I've never seen Hogger in the 4-man before. Either way, Infernal Misfits is starting a little early on this objective. But LTK is doing a good job at interrupting it. While they're waiting for their Rhaegar to arrive, it looks like. Ooh, a huge swap onto onto Bowser King. He's taking so much damage. Blinded, trying to walk away. Hogger's going to seal the deal.
First blood. You have done.
And this first objective is mainly going to go over to Infernal Misfits. But this is customary for the first objective, for one team to get 2 and the other to get 1, and it rarely has a big impact on the rest of the game. Infernal Misfits, however, having a slight experience lead so far in this game, they're going to pressure this bottom wall while Bowser King is returning to his 4-man. Both teams doing a good job of pressuring that bottom lane in their own ways. And if we look at the experience gained so far... Oops, this is not what I meant to do. There we go. Where can I see the experience? It doesn't... Okay, there we go. It was just bugged for some reason. We see that Leoric and Zagara are toe-to-toe in terms of experience so far. But Bud Italy is taking so much damage from those serrated spines that are slowly but surely coming online. Zoom then boom, within 5 minutes already over the 200 stack mark, which is very, very much insane. And he's already getting cooldown reduction for hitting heroes on his Q. Next objective is popping up. Both teams look like they want to posture to take it. Malkier using his global advantage to stay in the bottom lane a little longer, trying to get some damage onto Nathaniel. This first tower is going to go over to Infernal Misfits, and now they're going to contest this other one. They're looking to get both. And so much damage goes on to Bowser King. He's dashing away, zoomed and boom. Now, in potential trouble, he's going to be okay. Skills is taking this altar, and it doesn't look like LTK are going to have the resources to contest this anymore. Oh, but they managed to get the interrupt. Zoomed and boom, doing fantastic on the Asmodon. Misfits, though, still going to grab this objective, and now they're ahead by quite a lot in points. 14 points over as an advantage on their side. First you zoom, then you boom. I agree. Those globes are definitely going to do a lot of boom in the later stages of the game. LTK is slightly behind, but I do believe they're going to scale better. Gathering Storm stacked very high as well as Annihilation. And I'm very impressed by both Falstad and Asmodan's ability to stack so far in this game, so they might be able to turn this around using that scaling. Now both teams are at level 10, and let's look at them. Infernal Misfits went Shockwave, Warlord's Challenge, Water Dragon. Ooh, I like to see that. That's unusual. Devouring Maw, the Zagara not opting to go for the global, but instead for the team fighting, and Maelstrom, which was used to great effect in game number 1. On the other side, we have Cocoon, Mighty Gust, Entomb, Ancestral Healing, and Tide of Sin. Love to see that Tide of Sin empowering those globes that are already very, very strong for this point of the game. Water Dragon goes on to Malkier, but he just goes in, uses the Gust to push Infernal Misfits against the wall, but now he's in trouble. Bowser King requesting being in a lot of trouble as well. Those globes landing again and again and again. I like the Asmodan on this map since the 4-man stays together in relatively the same spot a lot. It makes it easier to stack. For both Falstad and Asmodon. Now it looks like... Ooh, Leoric is going down for a fight. He's going to catch Jody Immortal off guard. Now Wygon's going to use Unstoppable to try and get out. The Entomb not quite catching him. But Malkier is going to be able to grab this objective while Misfits are running away, closing the gap a little bit in the points. Now they're ahead in experience. That Leoric doing very, very well. But he's taking so much damage. Lone Wolf has all of the DPS. And that's one thing that I like about Zagara. She's very good at soaking, but once she goes into a team fight, she can do so much damage. And from afar, too. Oh! I didn't see that happening, but the insane amount of burst from Lone Wolf took down But Italy, and now she already has 49 stacks of serrated spines. Meanwhile, Misfits are pushing that bottom wall a little bit. They're going to take the wall down. There's still a turret, though. Yeah, I'm not used to seeing Water Dragon. It can be used to good effect, but that means that Lily's going to have a lot less healing because, let's be frank, most of the healing that Lily offers is in the form of that ultimate. It's a very, very strong one. They have to make Water Dragon work and combo off of it to make it worth it, that's for sure. 2 altars are coming up. Leoric lost a little bit of soak too because of his death, which made Misfits close the gap. Now they're looking for an invade. It looks like the camp was already taken by LTK though. Very good gust into the objective site, and now Azmodan is going to kill that Garrosh. Lily goes down as well. Cocoon on the Kerrigan is going to probably be enough to take her down. Now she goes down. That Annihilation is fully stacked by Azmodan at only 10 minutes into the game. So good the plays on that Azmodan. And 104 stacks of Gathering Storm is also insane for the 10-minute mark. And it looks like LTK is starting to win those team fights that they were having trouble winning early on in the game. And they're getting their lead back. Ooh, lots of damage onto Nathaniel. He's going to fall before he can escape. A good gank by LTK. Infernal Misfits in a little bit of trouble. They're now a full level down. They have a lot of pressure into their top lane. LTK is looking to put even more pressure into their bottom lane. And now they have to play on the defensive for a little bit. If that bottom fort falls for Infernal Misfits, they're going to be in even more trouble. The potential for 6 of those sappers to go onto your core at any moment is very hard to deal with. So much damage onto Wygon. He's going to fall. The Gathering Storm of Falstad doing so much to take him down. Now Kerrigan goes down as well, and LTK is looking like they're going to be able to take this fort without much resistance. Leoric already going to try and answer that Zagar in the top lane. Very well played by Lone Wolf to take this fort while his team was fighting in the bottom lane, getting something for their trouble. But this bottom fort is not going to last much longer, and between the top and the bottom fort, the bottom one is so much more impactful potentially because of those 2 camps that can pressure it. But it's still 3 forts to 3. 3 objectives are coming up, and it looks like LTK are positioning to take 2 of them. Misfits wants to get this top left for altar, however. They're not going to be able to get it. And now the point difference is almost equal. A wise decision by Misfits not to commit on that fight in the top left of the map since they didn't have their 16s. Now they do. So much damage from that Azmodan already. It's piling up. Oh, the great gust followed by a stun by Bowser King. The entire team of LTK is on the follow-up. They're going to take 1 kill, almost 2. Cocoon goes on to Kerrigan. They're looking to take her down. They're not going to commit to that. Second kill goes on to Lily. That Azmodan managed to hit her with a globe as she was retreating. Zoom, then boom. Seriously, that Azmodan is insane. Teams that go up against LTK in the future are going to have to ban that Azmodan onto this map, I think, because this is insane. But the The Falstad of Malkir is also incredibly good. Gathering Storm does so much. That Gust has been used to great effect. Now LTK is pushing 2 camps into that bottom lane. Lone Wolf trying his best to try and prevent them from connecting and to send some banelings in. But he's alone in this endeavor. Now Wygon is coming, but Lone Wolf is going to fall. A great stun by Bowser King. Will those sappers go through? Wygon doing his best to throw them away, but all 3 of them are gonna come in. One altar is coming up, while a second set of sappers are walking down this lane. Sappers in the top lane too, however, for Misfits, and those look like they don't have any opposition. They're going to be probably able to come in uninterrupted, but this altar is going to LTK. Luckily for LTK, this wave came in pretty timely. Nathaniel taking a lot of damage from Malkir, going to walk away. And it turns out those sappers won't connect. Neither will the ones of LTK, it looks like. Now LTK is already looking to grab this fort once again. But so is Misfits. They're looking to make the map just like it was before. Bodily is having some trouble reclaiming this fort, however, so for a little while at least it's going to be 5-2-3 for Misfits. But LTK has the advantage on their level 20s. They're about to get them, but Misfits wants to get the fight before then. Good disengage by LTK. Oh, so much damage on Lone Wolf. Almost gets the kill. And now that those level 20s are gone, Pride is selected by Azmodan, which is going to make his Q deal even more damage. Really insane. We see Wind Tunnel also by the Falstad. If a good Wind Tunnel connects... Oh, beautiful! Beautiful Entomb, followed by a Globe of Azmodan, secures the deal. They're looking to get more kills. A great stun by Bowser King. Lily goes down, followed by Zagara. Unstoppable is being used by Wygon, but he's not going to go very far. Nathaniel walking away, trying to defend his fort. But what can he do against the full team of LTK in the middle lane? 2 shrines are coming up as 4 members of Infernal Misfits are down. That is going to be 8 points, 10 points potentially for LTK. Since they got this fort right before channeling, which is a very wise move. And now they're looking to do the boss. If they get that boss, that's all they need to finish. And Infernal Misfits are not going to be back up in time. It looks like LTK is going to have the second game in the bag. We're going to game 3. Well done. Alright. Second game taken by LTK in a very dominant fashion. 15 kills to 3. Last Malkir didn't do as much damage as I thought, despite the Gathering Storm being very, very instrumental to those team fights. But it's still quite a lot, especially if you compare it to the damage of Infernal Misfits, both Azmodan and Falstad, over the entirety of Infernal Misfits in terms of damage. They are doing great in the offlane as well. Lots of healing from Vikar's Rhaegar, great stuns from Bowser King, and they were able to take the second game by being patient and stacking up, and they stacked up so fast. Honestly, props to Zoom Them Boom for the Azmodan especially. That was the best Azmodan I've seen so far. Infernal Misfits on the other side, Hogger doing a lot of damage in the 4-man, a lot more than I expected. It looks even like Hogger was their main source of damage, and that's not something you see very often. I can't tell exactly if Hugger and the 4-man is a good idea or not. I'm not entirely sure, but it didn't work out for them in this game anyway. I really like the Zagara. Doing so much in the offlane, bullying Leoric out of his lane most of the time, but he still managed to do good nonetheless. Let's look at those talents, at all of those juicy stacks. If you liked the way that those players played in this game, feel free to copy those builds and use them in your own. We're going to go over to our third and final game. I'm so excited for it. I love when we go to game 3s. We'll be right back. Our third and final game of the series is going to happen on Infernal Shrines, picked by Infernal Misfits. Very fitting. And as you see, I had to switch the team positions, the team sides, once again, because the third game, they played on the wrong side again. It happens. They weren't casted, so I don't blame them one bit. Very excited for Infernal Shrines, one of my favorite maps. And I can't wait to see which heroes they're going to pick. But before we go in, let's take a short look at the bans for each team. Infernal Misfits banned Gazlo, Asmodan, and Falstad. Love to see the Asmodan and Falstad bans, very, very respectful of them. They were so impactful in that previous game, and they stuck with their guns with the Gazlo ban. On the other side, LTK opted to ban Alarak, Kel'Thuzad, and Hogger. Hogger is very good on Infernal Shrines, and it was played last game by Infernal Misfits. So good bans, very wise of them to still ban the Alarak and Kel'Thuzad since they are so strong for Infernal Misfits. So without further ado, let's go to a short intro video and then we'll be right back into the game.
Oh, a swap! Oh no, but a swap followed by a light
Lead
bulb.
here. 4-man mosh pit followed by a tomb. Oh no! Oh, here's Light Bomb coming in on the Genji, and that's a 5-man Light Bomb. They're gonna follow up, and they're gonna get 1, 2, 3 kills.
And it's gonna be everybody dying. Oh my god, when does this happen? Everybody's dead.
Welcome to this third and final game of LTK versus Infernal Misfits. On the left side of the map this time, bearing the blue colors, it is Infernal Misfits with Nathaniel on Yrel, skills 912 on Vala, Lone Wolf on Tychus, Wyagon on Brightwing, and Jody Immortal on Blaze. And on the right side of the map, in the red, we have LTK, We Hate OBJ, with Last Malkier on Kel'Thas, Zoom Then Boom on Ragnaros, Bowser King once again on Anubarak, but Diddley on Leoric, and Vicar on Rhaegar. Bowser King loving that Anubarak, playing him in all 3 games, and to great extent at that. I really love his Anubarak play. Lots of respect for that. I've tried playing Anubarak, and I can't make it work. I mean, I'm not a tank main by any stretch of the imagination, but he's, to me anyway, a lot harder than the average tank to play. So lots of respect for Bowser King for that. We see once again the Tychus for Infernal Misfits, and he's already doing so much damage to Bowser King, forcing him to retreat. And that Tychus of Lone Wolf was also very strong in Game 1. We see a return of Yrel as well, which I love to see. She's already in the top lane, making things happen, trying to freeze... Not exactly freeze the lane. Kind of. It's slightly to her side anyway. And this time, Vala goes to the side of Infernal Misfits. And that Vala went for a different build than Malkier did. Fire at Will, the W stacking talent. Meanwhile, we see Mana Addict for Kel'Thas. LTK is looking at taking this bottom camp. Oh, and as soon as Lone Wolf comes in to try and peek in, he's going to get stunned out of his mind, but Infernal Misfits is reinforcing him, and they're going to steal this camp. So much effort done by LTK, taken in an instant by Misfits. Other interesting talents at level 1, we see Engulfing Flame by the Ragnaros. Infernal Misfits is looking to try and invade this camp. LTK might be able to take it though. They go on the engage. Jody Immortal getting a 4-man stun. And now it's 5 people of Misfits versus 4 of LTK. Nathaniel jumping in the middle, securing a kill onto that Ragnaros, and Malkier's Kel'Thas is going to fall as well. It looks like he fell to the camp specifically. First objective is coming up. Misfits with a slight experience lead in this objective, but the death timers are still low, and LTK are going to be able to contest it. That Vala of skill is already at 15 stacks of that W quest. And now the objective is ready. It's going to be an Arcane Punisher for the first objective of the game. Misfits takes their Bruiser camp right before the objective is popped, which is going to give them an advantage in terms of lane pressure. Blaze also ensuring that they push as far as they can. And now LTK is on a timer for this first objective with that camp pushing them. And already we see a slight advantage by Misfits in terms of minions. Lone Wolf taking so much damage. Malkier is going to get the killing blow with the Living Bomb. Nathaniel might be following, though he uses his jump to get away. Malkier very low on health, using everything he can to try and damage those enemies. Zoom, then boom. Managing to slow down Wygon. And now Kel'Thas is looking for the killing blow. Will he find it? He does not. And it looks like Ragnaros fell as well. Now LTK is on top of that objective. This camp that Misfits pushed up did not manage to breach through the wall. LTK over 20 now in terms of minions. That Vala getting a swoop of them with that W. Already at 24 stacks. And now it's Misfits that are all over this objective, but LTK are looking to try and engage, but Lily's taking so much damage from Lone Wolf. He's very, very low. And he's going to be taken down. Lone Wolf doing so good on the side there. He's going to try and run away for his life. Barely escapes the Flame Strike. And once again, Misfits getting an advantage into this objective. They're going to take it, and now they have an Arcane Punisher pushing through their middle lane. Yrel is going to go soak that top lane while the rest of the team pushes with the Punisher. It's going to be baited over the wall very effectively. Molten Core being used to limit that damage onto the fort. Very well done. It's not going to last very long, however. But anything it can do is welcome for the side of LTK. That Punisher is going to jump onto 2 people, getting the stuns, but there's no follow-up by Misfits. And it looks like they're going to trade 1 Punisher for 1 fort early on into this game. Getting a fort with the very first Punisher is very, very good for Misfits, more than they probably were expecting, and now they have a full level advantage onto LTK. Diddly with his Leoric, which he had in game 1, doing a good job against Nathaniel. Misfits are going to take this bottom camp. I believe they're going to be able to take it before LTK can arrive, if they even try. No, LTK just looks at their own camp. They have their Bruiser camp up. They haven't taken it yet this game, I don't believe. And the Bruiser camp of Misfits is just about to arrive. Misfits, with the very early level 10, they have more than a full level still on their opponent, and they're going to take Ardent Defender, Rain of Vengeance, Commandeer Odin, Emerald Wind, and Combustion. I like the pick of Combustion. I would have expected Bunker to potentially counter whatever the Kel'Thas was going to do, but it's going to be Combustion, a more offensive ult. They're looking to invade this camp as well. LTK hasn't taken their Bruiser, but Misfits sure as well is going to. Very sneakily too, and now they're going onto a gank, onto that Leoric, ignoring the fort completely to try and get that kill. Taking Leoric by surprise, they're going to take him down. Lava Wave though, going on to Lone Wolf, he's going to barely avoid it, but oh, beautiful heal by Wygon, keeping him alive just before that last hit to kill him would have connected. Now Molten Core is used to shoo those pesky invaders away. Misfits now looking at their own camp. And Misfits has been doing a great job at taking camps so far this game, securing themselves a pretty large advantage into the middle of this game. But it's not over until it's over. LTK has a lot of different ways that they can turn the tides and gain the advantage themselves. They have potentially a lot of strong teamfight options with Phoenix and Entomb, for example, and the Cocoon that Anubarak favors so much. Bowser looking very good with those Cocoons.
A shrine gathers power. You will take it from me.
LTK are the first to start rotating up to this next objective. Take that back. They were just looking to get this wave of soak, and now they're going to get the bottom one as well, I think. So it's Misfits that are going to start this objective first. Bruiser Camp doing a little bit of damage to this fort. While Diddley very low on health as well. Does he have tap available? I don't know if he does. Yeah, he was just waiting for it, it looks like. Now, Misfits already getting a strong lead. 10 minions on their side to 0 for LTK. It looks like LTK is just looking to give this one. They're going to lose their fort for it, probably. But they're looking to create advantages in other places around the map. And the Leoric shooing that ERL away. It looks like LTK is pinging those camps. The camps on this map not vanishing when the objective is triggered, as opposed to most other maps, which allows them to take it while that Punisher is pushing their top lane. Lava Wave is going to take care of any minion that could have reinforced that push. But the fort is down, and that Punisher is still almost full on health. It is a Mortar Punisher, which can do a lot of damage to buildings on its own. Going to be baited over the wall by Leoric, Molten Core being used, and now its health is going to go down very quickly, but not before the gate falls completely. Molten Core negating almost all of the damage that the Punisher could have done onto the keep. It's still going to do a little bit, but that's just a sliver of it. Meanwhile, Urel starting this camp, stealing it, but LTK might be going straight for it. That's the logical place for them to go. They're looking to have a fight over this this camp. 5v5. Bowser King jumps in with the blast wave. So many things happening already. Malkir's so very low. Will he be able to walk away? Looks like he might. He just is able to. LTK manages to get the objective, but they suffered a lot of deaths for it. Now 3v2 for Infernal Misfits. And they're going to be able to clean this camp very easily. And the additional kill they got gives them a decent bit of experience as well. And now Misfits is going to be first to level 16, which is going to be hard for LTK to deal with. Those level 16s are now online. Hi Farah! So glad to see you here. Hope you enjoy the cast and the stream. It has been a long time. You're not a terrible friend. I mean, I haven't checked up on you for a bit either. How are you doing? It's really nice to see you. Anubrak with the fantastic stun onto Vala, followed up by the Phoenix. So much death raining down onto that Vala. She's going to be deleted completely. Now LTK has one player advantage and their 16s are online as they take this camp. It's their time to shine, their time to make something happen, and that something is going to be pushing in the bottom lane, but Misfits is looking for a side engage. So many stuns going on to Lone Wolf. He dashes away as fast as he can. He's very low. Vicar going for the kill with his wolf spirit form. Jordy Immortal not managing to connect with the enemy team with his ultimate. Now the lead that LTK had created is widening, and in terms of experience, they're closing the gap. Jordy Immortal caught in a beautiful entomb, taking a lot of damage, using all of his shield, everything he can to survive, but it's not going to be enough. And now there's a big wave with LTK's 5-man team pushing in the bottom lane. They're going to take this fort, and with it, the experience is now equal. They did it. They made their way back into the game. It's now anybody's game. Vala taking this camp. I don't think she can take it on her own, so Nathaniel is coming to help. We were on to check a bit of DreamHack Masters SC2, and we're like, oh my god, Vic's gonna say hi. So glad to see you, Farah. We should really play sometime soon. That would be really fun. I've been playing a lot of competitive HOTS lately, and it's really fun. For information, what you're watching is a match of Nexus Gaming Series, which is an amateur competitive organization. This match is between Infernal Misfits and LTK We Hate Objective, two teams in Division E, which is the lowest division for Bronze to Gold players. Oh, great! Phoenix being used to great effect. that Brightwing was stunned to oblivion, and now she's down. LTK has this objective almost to themselves entirely, and they're almost at the 40 minion mark that they need for the objective. They're going to take it so easily. Very well played by them on the objective. Misfits is now on the back foot. They're going to have to try to take this. Ooh, the stun onto Vala as she's the one who takes the Punisher to the face, but Bowser King likewise is taking a lot of damage, going to be healed by the Ancestral Healing. Now Nathaniel is in a very precarious position, going to use his ult to survive. That Punisher not doing all of its damage on the fort. Now the fort goes down. A great entomb goes on to Jody Immortal, followed by a stun, followed by even more stun from that Molten Core. Nathaniel doesn't have his ultimate now to escape anymore, but he's going to be able to walk over to his gate. The Punisher now damaging the wall with the help of Molten Core. But I don't think he's going to be able to take it down completely. LTK is still looking to do some damage. They're not done. Now the call to retreat is given. These people look very competent. they really are. Those two teams are the currently two highest seeds in Division E, which is the division that I play in, by the way. My team is called Cho'Gall and the Chocolate Factory. So yeah, those two teams are the best two in Div E right now, and I was very excited to cast their game. The game actually happened last night, so it's a replay cast. It's still very exciting. Level 20 is reached first by LTK. They're going to have a relatively large window to get some very advantageous fights. And it looks like they're looking for them. They're positioning themselves very aggressively on the map. This siege camp is about to pop up, and when it does, if LTK wants it, it's going to be theirs. A huge stun onto Brightwing. She's caught in the entomb with Buried Alive. She goes down without even a chance of retaliation. Jody Immortal is now being focused down while the cocoon is going onto Vala. Now she's isolated in the middle of a sea of enemies. She goes down as well. LTK using their level 20 to the full extent, and now the small advantage that they had turned into a huge one. Commandeer Odin used to try and push them away. But those are only two heroes. LTK has the objective. They're baiting them away from the fort. They almost got the stun onto Lone Wolf. Now he's taking so much damage from that Kel'Thas. The keep is going down. There's still about 30 seconds before the team of Infernal Misfits is back together. LTK is looking to end. They're looking to seal the deal. Already some damage going onto that fort. They're turning onto Nathaniel. Great ult usage. LTK not feeding it too much. Molten Core is being used, but now Misfits has done a good job of keeping them busy and away from their core for just enough time to let their team go back together. Thank you so much, Farah, for the Prime subscription. It means so much. Thank you. I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy the cast. I'd love to see you in the stream in the chat more often if you'd like. I do casting regularly, multiple times a week, and I also want to maybe do some streaming of myself playing. Maybe putting some constraints on myself to make it more fun. Anyway, back to the game. LTK grabbed this bruiser camp. Will it do a lot? It's not being targeted by the fort. That fort is taking some damage already. Misfits is on this bruiser camp of LTK, but the call was given to try and interrupt it. They're coming just in time. Polymorph onto that Anubrak. He's going down, but Wyagon is going down as well. Beautiful Entomb with Buried Alive. Malkier in a lot of trouble. Lone Wolf pounding him with his minigun. Oh, but the stun! The stun well placed and timed, and now Lone Wolf is the one to go down. 2 kills to 1. LTK maintaining their advantage as things go on. They didn't manage to get this bruiser. Oh, they did manage to get the bruiser camp, actually. And now they're looking to get the siege cap as well before the objective goes up. LTK looking at that siege camp. They're not going to arrive in time. It looks like they want to try and get a kill, but they're going to get unmounted by those siege minions, getting their pursuit, cutting their pursuit short. But LTK is on that objective, and they have a very, very strong lead. Zoomed in, the Ragnaros, Kelthos, and Leoric, together are very, very good at taking those minions very, very quickly. And that's exactly what they do. 14 minions to 0, a clean objective pick by them in this late game. And with how late in the game we are, and them taking this bottom camp as well, they are almost certain to take this keep down. Will they be able to end, though? I don't think they can unless they can get a kill or two, and they're going to be looking for it. Misfits on the back foot in this third game, something that we haven't seen them be very often since they've dominated this group so strongly so far in this season. They're going to very effectively bait that Punisher away from their keep. That's going to let LTK do so much damage to it. Now Molten Core is going to go on the Fallen Keep. Lots of damage going on to Skill Z. So much damage from that living bomb goes onto him. Buried alive, being used to great effect as well. Malkir saved by the Anubarak. And now a huge stun goes on to Infernal Misfits. Nathaniel in a lot of trouble in the middle of a Red Sea. With one kill, they might be looking to end. A huge stun, follow-up stun onto Lone Wolf, and now he goes down. LTK has been doing so well at chaining their stuns together, such a good coordination. However, they're going to lose KT, they're going to lose Rhaegar. Skills doing so good on the Vala, but that Vala is going down. There are catapults on the core. It's 3-2, but the resources of LTK are so low. But they have those catapults, 3 catapults. If they can keep Misfits from killing those catapults, they could just end right there. Bowser King is going down, and Misfits have done a successful job of keeping their core alive. What a fight. What a game, what a series. Now LTK is running away with their tail between their legs, having to retreat, get their resources back. Misfits are going to come together a little sooner than LTK since those deaths happened earlier. Ragnaros is very, very strong, especially on maps like these. And now Misfits is looking to put some pressure on the map. They have so much pressure already into their own lanes, into their own side of the map. Catapults on every single lane, pushing them. Not on the top lane, however. That lava wave, so instrumental for LTK's lane pressure. Ragnaros being used to great effect. Those Molten Cores have been fantastic as well. Ooh, both teams going for the same camp right now. LTK is looking for... Ooh, great Entomb! Silence going down on 2 of their members. They can't do anything. They're stun locked. They're going down. The Phoenix also helping to seal the deal. And now it's a 5v3 for LTK. They're trying to lock down Jody Immortal. So many slows. He's trying to run away. Will he be able to? No, he gets stunned. Vicar jumping in to help. And now, with only 2 players of Infernal Misfits left to tell the tale of that fight, that core is probably going to go down. LTK has what they need. They have their win condition. Skills jumping out of the way successfully. Molten Core being used once again at every opportunity, doing the damage straight onto the core. It looks like the call was made by LTK to focus that core at all costs, and that's what they're doing. Shield is down 90%, but at least taking so much damage from Lone Wolf, he's going to go down. But the Ragnaros is still coming in strong and healthy. They're focusing the core like their life depends on it, and it probably does. 20%. Zoom Then Boom goes down 1%, 0, and GG is called. The game goes to LTK and the series as well. First match defeat by Infernal Misfits. What a match! Whew. That was intense. What a match I just witnessed, and we all witnessed. Here, I'm going to show the alert for your subscription, Farah. Look at this.
No one expects the Scarlet Inquisition.
I made it myself, and it's your favorite hero, White Mane, too. Anyway. What a fantastic Game 3 by LTK. Look at those stats. Look at that amount of siege damage and experience gained by Ragnaros. Obviously, we expect that from Ragnaros, but it's always insane to see. But he also did so much hero damage too. Malkir's Kael'thas was killing it. The Tyke is doing a good job of focusing Anubarak down, but Anubarak only fell twice. Those heals from Rhaegar were on point. Both teams playing so well, but LTK, they were so good in all three of those games at knowing when they had an advantage and using it to the full extent. And those team fights, those Leoric Entombs were so good. Golden. I fully believe that those Entombs were probably the biggest factor of their victories in the team fights. So, if you liked the way that those players played their games, and you'd like to emulate them in your own games, feel free to copy those talents, take a screenshot. We're going to go over those ults real quick, since some of them are being hidden by the timer, since this is a replay cast. We have Ardent Defender, Reign of Vengeance, Commandeer Odin, Emerald Wind, and Combustion. And LTK took Phoenix, Lava Wave, Cocoon, Entomb, and Ancestral Healing. And I so wish we could get an interview with LTK. If you're still in here, Malkir, and you want to do it, I'm offering it to you. If you want to quickly talk about your team's victory. What a series. This must have been gut-wrenching for both teams. Infernal Misfits was undefeated. They had only lost one single game against Smoke. I believe it was last week or the week before. But in terms of matches, they were undefeated. And LTK, despite being highly seeded, I'm kind of surprised they managed to take that win and in such a strong fashion. Those games were not easy by any mean, but LTK looked so strong in all three of them. They were on top of their game tonight. And I really hope you enjoyed watching those games as much as I did. That was insane. I wish this game could have been casted live. I wish I could have casted it live yesterday. Unfortunately, I was playing myself. But this is still amazing. Thanks to those of you who joined in. Oh, we're getting an interview from Malkir. I'm going to go into one of the NGS lobbies if you want to join me there. Thank you so much. Alright, we're just waiting for Malkir, who was the Kael'thas in that last game, played fantastically. Hi Malkir! I just need to change the graphic because it's the wrong team. There we go. So, how do you feel about those games that you played yesterday?
Really good. I think we're still coming off a high a little bit from last night. We were all, a little bit nervous playing the first place team. We felt like coming into it, we did our scouting and watched their games. We felt like we were the better team. And so we really just had to come, show up, and put on a performance. And, game one was a little shaky, but we shook back. And games 2 and 3, we're able to secure that W.
You definitely did more than just putting on a good show. Congratulations to you and your team, honestly. I am a little speechless at what I just witnessed. It was so good. How did you feel after that first game? You had a really, really rough time as Vala into that first game, especially against the Kerrigan. How did you and your team react to like those Kerrigan plays?
Yeah, I mean, coming into it, we really didn't expect that comp because we hadn't really noted that they were going to play that, and that could have just been some oversight on our part, doing our due diligence. But didn't really expect it, and they very handedly defeated us in game 1, which was a little demoralizing. But there's a reason that these are 3-game series, and we said, okay, well, we'll just let them have that one, and we'll win the next 2.
Definitely. And how did you and your team adjust to the Kerrigan being picked again in game 2? Did you come into the game with a different strategy? Did you draft differently to adjust?
Yeah, we did. I mean, I think you note the Asmodee and the Falstad. Obviously, those 2 picks we saw them early, draft the Garrosh, and it looked like they were going to take basically the same comp. So we said, okay, well, what can we play that's a little safer? Didn't go with our hyper carry comp. Instead, went with both the Falstad and the Asmodee. Play a little bit safer, give us the gust for the defensive use there, and it worked out. They kind of drafted a little bit of a wonky comp for that Towers of Doom with the Hogger and the Kerrigan and the 4-man. So, we just waited. Zoom played fantastic in game 2, got her stacks extremely, extremely early, and it just really spiraled there.
It's very apparent you have a lot of practice with that gust as well. They were impeccable in game 2.
Yeah, thanks. I've been practicing the Falstad, trying to, always expand the toolbox with new kits, and it seemed to really work out there. We were trying to hold them a little bit more defensively, but you could tell that they realized they couldn't just dive in on us anymore. So hats off in game 2 to Bo Diddley, our offlaner. Playing that Leo into that Zagara is a tough task.
It is. That Zagara was doing so much damage, and yet he managed to stay about equal in experience all game. So props to him.
Yeah, Bo Diddley's a very, very solid offlaner. I think he's, probably the best in our division. So I've really enjoyed playing with him and the rest of the team too.
I have to say, props to why am I forgetting his name? You're a Nubarak player.
No, Bowser King? Yeah.
Bowser King, yes.
Really solid tank player. And you know what? Anoob's not even his best hero. He's got 3 or 4 others that are better than that. So
really? Because as far as I've noticed, in NGS so far this season, he's been favoring Anubarak quite heavily, and it's been working out for you guys.
Yeah, the Anubarak's just got a really good pool set, but Bowser's he's got 2 or 3 other tanks that are definitely more deadly than the Anub. So if people want to ban out the Anub, by all means, go for it.
Do you think you and your team will get promoted to Division D next season?
That's really the hope. We're looking to grow as a team, and I think we can. We got 5 really solid players, 2 really solid sub additions recently with Magius and Jadic, and so I think really the goal is to move up to either D or C next season, and I really think we can secure the number 1 spot at the end of the season.
I really wish you the best. You are obviously secured in terms of your place in the playoffs. So you've played most of the strong teams so far in the season. Going into the playoffs, which teams are you the most worried about facing?
Realistically, the 2 teams that I think are competitive for us right now, and I don't want to say that because any team could win on any given day, but the 2 I would think that we've been most think we're on the same talent as is probably the team we just played, Infernal Misfits, and Smoke, who we play next week. We knew this was going to be a two back-to-back really tough games for us, and we handedly handled Infernal Misfits last night, so we're planning to do the same thing to Smoke next week, and that way we can demoralize them a little bit, so when they do see us in the playoffs, they're on the back foot.
I can't wait to see this game next week. I think it's going to be a very interesting one. And I wish you and your team good luck for that.
Thanks so much, and thanks for the cast. Really appreciate it. We were kind of bummed when nobody was able to pick it up last night, so I was excited to see that you were able to today.
I couldn't believe it wasn't picked. To me, it was such an anticipated game, and that's why as soon as I had the chance today, I picked it up as a replay cast. I would have cast it live, but my team was playing against Yavapai yesterday.
Nice. Yeah, I think, to be fair, I think some teams some casters have maybe slept on us. I've heard it in a few of the other casts that, everyone thought Smoke and Infernal were the best two teams in the division. And we kind of, took that with a little grain of salt and said, okay, well,
I would definitely say that your team was a little bit of an underdog in this season. I think you've been together for a few seasons, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, this is actually everybody's first season together. I think only two of us have. I played NGS last season with Magius on a different team, and I think everybody else is new to NGS. So it's a whole new team.
Well, you've been really popping off in this season.
Oh, we gotta give a big shout out to Dutch, our coach. He's been instrumental in that performance. I mean, he really has taken so much time to help us along the way, teach us how to play these maps, teach us how to play competitive HOTS, and grow as a team and individual players. So shout out to Dutch, shout out to LTK, our organization. There's been a lot of great people helping us out along the way. We haven't done it ourselves by any means. So yeah, I'd like to give those two a big props. You don't see them playing in the games, but they're as much and probably more instrumental than the 5 players actually participating.
That is awesome. Congratulations again for your victory. Is there any last shout out you want to make before we close the interview?
Shout out to you. Thanks for the cast. As always, really appreciate that. Shout out to the rest of my teammates. Really enjoyed playing with all of them this season. They've been awesome. We had a really fun drinking stream this last Friday night as kind of a social aspect, organized by our coach Dutch, and it was a lot of fun. So, man, I'm having a blast, and I really look forward to the rest of the season with everybody.
I'm really glad that you're enjoying your team and that everyone's super awesome in your organization.
Thanks, yeah. Well, thanks for the cast, and
of course, take care of yourself. Thanks again for coming in for an interview.
For sure. See you around.
See you around.
Bye-bye.
So that's going to be it for today's cast of Infernal Misfits versus LTK. We hate OBJ. What a match it was. And thanks again to Malkir for coming for an interview. I hope you guys enjoyed it thoroughly. I sure did. I'm going to be looking at another cast pretty soon. I'm toying with the idea of doing... Well, I was toying with the idea of doing another one after this one, but it took a lot out of me. So I think I'll take it easy for the rest of the day. Either way, quick shoutouts before I close the stream. First of all, I do some video editing professionally, so if you like what I do, you have some projects that you want to work on, that you want them to shine, then don't hesitate to contact me about it. My info is in my description in the bottom, and I'd be very happy to help. I'm currently working on some samples to add to my portfolio so I can show you a little more of what I can do. Other than that, shoutouts to NGS for organizing those fantastic events. NGS is an organization by the players for the players, and what they do is phenomenal. So if you want to help them continue to do it, consider subscribing to their Patreon or buying stuff from their merch store. They have a couple of really awesome items in there that are worth looking into. That's going to be it for me for today. Thanks a lot again for watching, and I wish all of you a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.